Okay, I decided to do a quick video correction of this so that you could get a better understanding of what we're going to do. We're going to do this in 2 steps. We're going to first open this in Curvemeister in Lab, and we're going to pick something that would be a reasonable neutral. I'm going to assume at this stage that the wetsuit is black. So if I set a neutral there, I've already, as you can see, I've already made a dramatic change to the image as it is. I need to drive some more red into this, because what's really happening with this image is there's really no information in the red channel, and so we don't have any reds per se in the image. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to bring the A channel up in Lab, which controls the magenta to green, or what we would think of mostly as red, and I'm going to right click and I'm going to say pin the grid to the upper right. That pins the green channel down, and then I'm going to pull down on these points until I start to see some red come in. And actually I'm going to remove it as I look at this now. I'm going to remove these 2 points, and I'm just going to grab the end of the curve and slowly bring it in until I start to see some red in the corner. And I just want to affect this ever so slightly to add some red to the image. I'm going to switch to the lightness channel really quick, and I'm just going to click on the frame so I get that bent arrow, and then click and rotate this up until I start getting some contrast here. And I'm just going to check the threshold really quick so that I don't blow out his forehead. And I'll bring the shadow end of the curve in a little bit more. There, that makes it a much more dramatic looking picture. So that's the first step of this, is in Lab, and I'm going to apply that, and we're going to come back out here to Photoshop, and I'm going to come right back into Curvemeister, but this time I'm going to go into RGB mode, and we're going to tweak the color just a little bit. As we were fighting for red down in this corner, I'm going to kind of go get some more red because it helps the blade look a little better, etc. So I'm going to just click on the red channel kind of up in the area where the black line is on the curve. And actually I'm going to move this point a little bit here. Let me delete that and start here, and we're just going to pull down just a little bit here and then return the curve back to its normal spot. And what this is doing is it's adding some red into these parts of the image here. I know that, you know, right now that doesn't seem like it's that important, but as you finalize this, your eye is looking for some red, something to help you normalize this image a little bit. The next thing I'm going to do is it just because of its green content, I'm just going to raise the highlight end of the green channel a little bit and just kind of pull it down. Just give it a slight, ever so slight curve, just to reduce some of the green in the brightest areas of the image. And let me delete that point. Let's try again. And just kind of manipulate that a little bit. It's more a feeling that I'm going for rather than, you know, a hard, fast, definitive correction. I'm really just kind of looking around for points that I want to have a little bit more color in them, because our overall goal is to just make this image look better. And again, I'm going to go to the master channel here just to give myself a little bit more contrast. And as you can see, there's just been some slight adjustments to the curves, and it brings us into a much better place overall for this image. So if I apply that and we look at, okay, one of the things that's been pointed out about this image after we corrected it was that in the original the fin was very blue, and so we want to try and return that blue to the image, just for that fin and some of the other areas where we've picked up a little too much magenta. So one of the ways we can do that is we're going to make a background copy of the image again, and we're going to go back into Curvemeister and we're going to use a mask. So what we're going to do is we're going to click on the mask cart here. This little button shows me a mask cart, and I get to choose a mask based on whichever channel I think will best give me what I'm looking for. And because the issue is the fin and it's blue, I'm looking for one of these channels here where the fin stands out really well against the background. And one of my candidates is actually the B channel in the lab. And the reason for that is the B channel contains information that's not yellow and information that is yellow. Well, where it's not yellow, it's very dark black. And so I can make a very high contrast mask out of that, whereas the fin is purely white. And then I can curve this down to where the rest of the mask is mostly black. And what this will allow me to do is it'll allow me to inject some blue back into this fin. And since this part of the image is fairly blue anyway, I don't think we're going to do any harm with it. So let's take a look at the whole piece here, and we'll just take the yellow end of the curve and lift it a little until the fin is blue. And then we can pull this curve back down just a titch to make sure the water looks good. So very quickly we can return that fin to its blueness that the original owner of the image would like to see, and we can still maintain some blue in the background of the image without gaining a huge blue cast over the whole thing. The other thing I'm going to do here, though, I think, is I'm going to blur this mask just a little bit, and what that'll do is it'll take some of the hardness out of the transitions in the water. And so there you have it, with a mask to restore the fin to some blueness, and we'll apply that back. So that's where we were, and this is where we are now at. So the fin looks blue. We do have some red here in this corner that we probably could go after. I over exaggerated the correction a little bit, but in general you want to get rid of as much of the blue as you can and try and bring back some of the red.